For almost 20 years, Mike Brewer has been the fast-talking, deal-making face of wheeler dealers. He was the guy who could find treasure where other people saw trash. His voice guided viewers through the exciting ups and downs of fixing up classic cars. To millions of people, Brewer wasn't just a TV host. He stood for car culture itself. But lately, the news stories, rumors, and online talk about him have changed. They paint a darker, sadder picture than fans ever thought they'd see. It begins with the problems that shook the show. Edd China left, and fans still talk about that split years later. Then came Ant Anstead, a co-host who briefly made the show exciting again. But that partnership broke apart too. Each time people blamed Brewer. Each time questions came up. Was he just unlucky, or was he the main problem in all this trouble? But that was just the start. Away from the cameras, rumors started spreading about struggles at home. Marriage problems, quiet separations, the kind of personal cracks that matched the work problems happening on screen. And then came the most worrying sign of all: concerns about Brewer's health. Fans saw the changes, how he looked, his energy level, the stress that seemed to show more with each new season. Online forums filled up with guesses. Could the never-ending demands of wheeler dealers, combined with personal stress, finally be hurting him? This isn't just another TV argument or gossip story. It's watching a man's reputation fall apart piece by piece in front of people who once loved him. And as the story continues, it gets harder to tell what's real and what's just drama. By the end of this video, you'll understand why fans say this might be the hardest time in Mike Brewer's life yet, and why what just happened has everyone in the car world talking. Before the arguments and the online hate, Mike Brewer's story was one of constant success. Born in South London in 1964, Brewer grew up around engines and motor oil. His father built custom cars and filled his childhood with the sound of exhausts and the smell of gasoline. That early experience sparked something in him. Mike wasn't just interested in cars, he understood the people who loved them. He saw cars not just as machines, but as stories waiting to be told. By the 1990s, Brewer had built a reputation as a smart, charming car trader. His talent wasn't just partnership. Mike's fast talk, Edd's quiet expertise, Trang, and the excitement of watching forgotten classics come back to life. For years, the formula was perfect. Ratings went up, the show went international, and Brewer became one of the most recognized faces in car television. His energy, confidence, and jokes made him the heartbeat of the series. But success comes at a price. As Brewer's fame grew, so did the pressure and expectations. That same charm that built his success would later fuel the fights and breaks that started to define his career. For many fans, Wheeler Dealers wasn't just a car show. It was the friendship between Mike Brewer and Edd China. Brewer was the showman, the negotiator, the storyteller. Edd was the craftsman, the quiet genius who made impossible repairs look easy. Together, they weren't just fixing cars, they were fixing dreams. But behind the cameras, tension built up. Brewer wanted the show to stay fun, accessible, and fast-paced. Edd, however, pushed for more detail, more depth, more realness in the time-out builds. As the show grew, so did production demands and network pressure. Creative arguments over editing, budgets, and control of the workshop turned friendly jokes into bitter fights. By 2017, everything exploded. Edd China announced he was leaving the series, saying he disagreed with the show's direction. His explanation that compromises were being made that hurt the technical quality of the builds shocked fans. Almost overnight, Brewer was seen as the bad guy. Social media exploded with anger. Viewers accused him of pushing Edd out, of choosing entertainment over honesty. Brewer said no, insisting he had nothing to do with Edd's exit. But people didn't believe him. The backlash was brutal. Longtime fans declared the show dead without Edd. Forums filled with anti-Brewer feelings. At live events, he was even booed, and in some cases threatened. Brewer later admitted the backlash left scars on him and his family. What had once been his greatest achievement was now a shadow, a constant reminder that the audience he helped build had turned against him. When Ant Anstead stepped in as co-host, the future of Wheeler Dealers seemed to get brighter. Ant was younger, full of charm, and brought fresh energy to the series. His background as a builder and designer gave him credibility, and at first fans liked the new duo. For a while, it looked like Brewer had survived the storm. The partnership worked on the surface. Episodes kept coming, the cars kept rolling in, and international audiences stayed around. But behind the workshop doors, cracks started to show. Ant was ambitious, with his own projects, his own style, and his own vision for what car television could be. Brewer, still hurting from the backlash of Edd's departure, held tightly to his role as the show's main person. Those differences quietly grew into problems. By 2020, Ant had stepped away from Wheeler Dealers. Officially, the explanation was location and scheduling issues, filming MIT commitments in the US versus the UK. But fans weren't convinced. Whispers spread that once again, Mike Brewer's presence was the problem. The internet guessed that Brewer was the common factor in two broken partnerships, adding to the story that he was difficult to work with. For Brewer, it felt like déjà vu. Another co-host gone, another round of online criticism, and another hit to his reputation. Fans started asking a painful question. Was the magic of Wheeler Dealers ever really about Mike Brewer? Or was it about the men who eventually chose to walk away from him? The departure of Edd China didn't just break Wheeler Dealers, it broke Mike Brewer's relationship with the very fans who had once celebrated him. Overnight, Brewer became a target for criticism. Social media lit up with accusations, hashtags calling for boycotts, and memes painting him as the villain who drove Edd away. For many people, it didn't matter what the official story was. Public opinion had already chosen its side. Brewer faced a huge wave of hate on Twitter and Facebook. Every announcement he made was flooded with negative comments. At car events, some fans booed him. In interviews, he admitted that the backlash went beyond work. It affected his personal life. He talked about how hard it was on his family, with his wife receiving threats and his daughter targeted online simply for being related to him. It was a turn of career on charm. It was perhaps the cruelest twist of all. As the work battles went on, whispers started spreading about cracks in Mike Brewer's personal life. For years, his marriage had been held up as a rare constant, a partnership that lasted while TV contracts, filming schedules, and business trips pulled him across continents. His wife Michelle often appeared at events by his side, smiling for cameras and cheering him on. But fame has a way of wearing people down, and soon rumors of strain started to surface. Fans noticed the absence first. Brewer was often on the road, busy with filming or hosting appearances, while Michelle stayed behind. Social media watchers began guessing that distance was taking its toll. Reports suggested growing tension between them, differences in lifestyle, stress from online hate, and the never-ending schedule that came with being the face of Wheeler Dealers. The whispers grew louder. Were Mike recognized Michelle heading towards separation? Brewer never confirmed such rumors, but the guessing became part of the larger story that his personal life matched his work struggles. Once seen as a family man who had made it, Brewer now found his marriage pulled into the same cycle of watching and gossip that haunted his career. And for fans who had already started doubting him, the rumors seemed to confirm their suspicions that Brewer was a man whose empire, both work and personal, was slowly cracking under the weight of fame, conflict, and pressure. The hardest blows, though, came from concerns not about Mike Brewer's career or marriage, but his health. Over the years, fans noticed changes in how he looked. He looked heavier in some seasons, thinner in others. In certain episodes, his energy seemed lower, his movements slower. Online forums buzzed with guesses about whether the stress of constant travel, filming schedules, and public hate was catching up with him. Brewer has been open about past health scares. Years ago, he fought issues that forced him to rethink parts of his lifestyle. But television doesn't stop for recovery. The grind of long shoots, international travel, and high-pressure deals never let up. Add to that the emotional cost of constant criticism, and the weight became visible. Some fans showed real concern. They posted messages urging him to take a break, to put his health before the show. Others, less kind, used his appearance as fuel for more online mockery. It was a cruel reminder that in the public eye, even personal struggles can become weapons. The combination of visible tiredness, changing health, and rumors of personal stress created a storm. For the first time, fans weren't just questioning Mike Brewer's reputation. They were questioning whether he had the strength to continue. Was his health the biggest obstacle now standing in his way? And if so, was the man who built his career on endless energy finally running out of gas? The storm around Mike Brewer wasn't only personal, it was professional. Wheeler Dealers, once one of the most loved car shows in the world, had always thrived on chemistry. Brewer was the voice, the dealer, the storyteller. But Edd China was the craftsman, and later, Ant Anstead carried that torch. Without a strong co-host partnership, fans began to question the magic of the show itself. Could Brewer alone keep the series alive? For a while, the show continued. Brewer pushed forward, partnering with mechanics like Marc Priestley and keeping the format alive. But the shadow of Edd and Ant hung over everything. Every new episode drew comparisons. Every new build was measured against the golden years. And with fans already doubtful of Brewer, it was an uphill battle. Away from television, Brewer branched out into other projects. He invested in dealerships, attended car festivals, and became a regular face on the speaking circuit. He relied semantics, the very charm that had made him famous, to keep his brand relevant. But cracks showed here too. Without a big hit like Wheeler Dealers in its prime, the question hung in the air. Could Brewer's brand survive in the long run? In today's world of YouTube builders and social media mechanics, Brewer's old-school style felt out of touch to some. Younger fans were flocking to online creators, and Brewer's dominance in personal. Professionally, Brewer's image was under attack once again. With both Edd and Ant gone, many fans openly questioned if Wheeler Dealers was running on empty. Ratings had dropped, and though Brewer kept pushing, the whispers of cancellation or change grew louder. Online, fans voiced fears. Was this the beginning of the end, not just for the show, but for Brewer's entire career in the spotlight? The shocking part wasn't just the combination of health rumors, marriage struggles, and broken partnerships. It was how they all came together at once. Brewer, the man who always seemed in control, suddenly looked vulnerable. For decades, he had been the confident dealer, the unshakable host, the man who could talk his way through any negotiation. Now, fans weren't seeing the deal-maker, they were seeing a man at a crossroads. It wasn't just another TV fight anymore, it was real. And it left fans with a chilling question. Was this the moment Mike Brewer's life, both on and off the screen, finally reached its breaking point? As the dust settles, one truth becomes clear. Mike Brewer's story is far from simple. For nearly 20 years, he has been a central figure in the world of car entertainment. He brought millions of people into the garage, teaching them the value of classic cars and the thrill of the hunt. His charm made him a star, and his energy carried Wheeler Dealers to worldwide fame. That legacy is undeniable. But legacies are fragile. Brewer's journey is now weighed down by the very things that once lifted him up. The fallout with Edd China changed how fans saw him. The clash with Ant Anstead confirmed suspicions. The online backlash stained his reputation, and now, health concerns and rumors about his marriage have turned admiration into worry. For the first time, the conversation isn't about the cars Mike Brewer buys and sells. It's about Mike Brewer himself. Yet in all of this, there's still room for hope. Brewer has reinvented himself before. He survived the kind of backlash that would have ended many careers. He's proven he can adapt. Whether it's on television, on stage, or behind the scenes, the question now is whether he can do it again. Can he take the hits, learn from them, and come out stronger? Or is this storm one too many? Fans are left with uncertainty, but also with respect. For all the flaws and all the controversies, Mike Brewer's contribution to car culture is undeniable. The final chapter hasn't been written yet. The only question is whether it will be one of redemption or of retreat. And maybe that's why everyone is still talking. Because Mike Brewer, love him or hate him, has never left people indifferent. And now more than ever, the world is waiting to see what he does next.